Walk up to any construction site in Ireland and ask the operators when they last saw a brand new Caterpillar roll through those gates. Most of them will say, years. That is the result of 30 years of decisions, made in boardrooms in Deerfield, Illinois, that slowly handed the European construction market to four competitors who were paying closer attention. This is the story of how Caterpillar lost a continent's trust, and why the same pattern is already showing up in American yards. For most of the 20th century, Cat was not just dominant in Europe, it was the default. The Cat D6 cutting motorways through Britain, the Cat 320 trenching German industrial parks, the Cat 966 running aggregate through Austrian quarries. If it was a job site, it had yellow iron on it. So what changed? The answer is not what most people expect. It starts just after World War II. American Marshall Plan aid rebuilt a destroyed continent, and a significant portion of that work was done on Caterpillar machines. By the time Europe was rebuilt, Cat was not just a brand. It was the equipment that did it. Cat built a dealer network to match. Finning in Britain, Zeppelin Baumaschinen in Germany, Bagarod and Monoyer in France. Not just showrooms, massive regional operations with parts warehouses, trained technicians, and long-term service contracts. When a Cat 966 broke down on a Ruhr Valley quarry, the dealer had a part on a service truck within hours. That is how you turn a product into a religion. But dominant positions make you comfortable, and comfortable companies stop fighting to win. They start fighting to protect margin. While Caterpillar managed Europe as a profit center, four companies were building something different. JCB. Founded in 1945 by Joseph Cyril Bamford with £1 and a second-hand welding set. Still privately owned. Still run by the Bamford family. JCB did not just make machines, it invented categories. The backhoe loader, the telehandler load-all, the compact tracked skid steer. The JCB 3CX has been in continuous production for over 60 years, not because they cannot redesign it, but because 60 years of incremental improvement beats 10 cycles of rebrand. Liebherr. Hans Liebherr, 1949. Still private, still run by the founder's grandchildren. They run their own foundries, cast their own components, build their own engines. While Cat outsourced manufacturing decisions to hit quarterly numbers, Liebherr was pouring steel into molds they owned, with engineers whose only job was to make the next machine better than the last. Volvo Construction Equipment. Swedish. Built for operators who put decades on the same machine and need it still running on day one of decade two. Komatsu. Japanese. But their European dealer expansion put them directly in Cat's territory at exactly the moment Cat was retreating from it. The thread connecting all four: reinvestment. Every year. Into engineering, into service, into the operator. No quarterly earnings call. No pressure to show margin improvement by year end. That compounding advantage, run for 30 years, is unbeatable. Starting in the late 1990s, Caterpillar pushed a strategy called dealer consolidation. The logic looked clean on a spreadsheet. Consolidate small dealers into large regional operations, and the numbers improve. Cat Finance loved it. Wall Street loved it. The operators did not. A contractor in rural Bavaria used to have a dealer 20 kilometers away. After consolidation, 200 kilometers. A Scottish Highlands operator who used to have a service van by mid-morning was now waiting 2 or 3 days. A German quarry found that a diagnostic fault code, the kind a mechanic used to clear in 10 minutes, now required a dealer laptop that was a 3-hour round trip away. Machine sat, crew sat, job sat. Cat's diagnostic software has historically been dealer-controlled. European contractors discovered this one broken machine at a time. The right to repair movement arrived in European heavy equipment years before it made headlines anywhere else. Not because of activists, but because contractors got tired of paying dealer rates to clear a code they could see on the screen themselves. Meanwhile, European competitors went the opposite direction. JCB expanded dealer presence. Liebherr built direct factory service relationships. Volvo CE treated smaller contractors as primary customers. Komatsu targeted the exact markets Cat was retreating from. When your Cat was down for 3 days and your neighbor's Liebherr was running by noon, the comparison made itself. You did not need a sales pitch. You needed a working machine. A European fleet that ran mostly Caterpillar in the mid-1990s ran a minority by 2010, and barely any by 2020. Now the part that is the most personal, and probably the most important. Spend 40 years in heavy equipment cabs, actually in the seat, not behind a desk reading spec sheets. And your back, your kidneys, and your hearing will tell you which machines were designed for operators and which ones had the human fitted in afterward. Older cat scrapers get called out in comments on channels like this one, consistently, as spine killers, career enders. The cabs rattled, the seats bottomed out, the ventilation fought you. Now sit in a Liebherr or Volvo cab in 2026. Quieter, better ventilated, designed around where a body needs support after hour 6 of a 10-hour shift. A JCB load-all. The controls fall under your hand the way you expect them to, naturally, without thinking. These sound like small things. They are not small things when you are in that seat from 6 in the morning until 6 at night, 5 days a week, for 30 years. They compound into back injuries, hearing loss, and careers that end 10 years early. Younger operators in Sweden, Germany, and Britain have never had to choose CAT. They trained on European iron. That preference does not go away when they become the ones writing purchase orders. Brand loyalty transfers through the seat. CAT built that loyalty in Europe once. They let it expire. Here is what the market looks like right now. Ireland, JCB only. The Nordics, Volvo CE is the default. Germany, Liebherr dominates mining and quarrying. Britain, JCB, Komatsu, Volvo, Hitachi. CAT is sporadic. CAT remains genuinely strong in ultra-class surface mining. The 797 truck is in a class by itself. That deserves to be said plainly. But ultra-class mining is a narrow ledge. The everyday fleet, backhoes, wheel loaders, mid-size excavators, CAT lost that. Dealer by dealer, fault code by fault code, rattling cab by rattling cab. The same conditions are showing up in American yards right now. Articulated haulers, increasingly Volvo and Komatsu. Telehandlers, increasingly JCB. Mid-size excavators, Hitachi, Kobelco, Komatsu taking share. American contractors are not brand loyal, they are value loyal, and they are buying it. The European story did not end with a dramatic collapse. It ended with a generation of operators who never went back. That quiet shift, multiplied across enough fleets and enough years, is how a dominant brand becomes a memory. Caterpillar still makes extraordinary machines, but weight is not loyalty. And loyalty is exactly what they traded away. One dealer closure, one software lockout, one rattling cab at a time. Here is my question for the comments. When did you first put a non-CAT machine next to a CAT machine and realize the gap had closed? What was the machine, and what was the job? I want to know when operators felt the shift, not when the analysts said it happened. When the seat told you. Drop it below. I read every one. Like and subscribe if this is the kind of content you come here for. See you on the next one.